Hello, everybody. It's Mr. Michael Meyers here today. How y'all doing?
Do not believe this man. Do not believe this man. That is not Michael Myers. Folks, this is Terrence Hornsby. He's a personal trainer. His man has actually changed my life a little bit over the last 6 months.
Oh, you changed my life too.
Oh,
It's
go
work-
on.
It's,
Just
work,
keep going.
it's
No,
working
keep
both
going.
ways.
Keep going.
It
Keep
works-
going.
It's working both ways.
Ah.
Changing my life too.
Are we on? All right, somebody type in hello or something so I know that we're up and cooking. Oh, Patricia Grace, somebody's buff. All right, it's up.
It's
Hey,
clearly him.
it's right. All right, so Rob, you can hear us? Okay, great. All right, super duper. Anyway, listen, what I wanted to do today is something a little bit different. And Terrence and I, we've been working together. It's almost 6 months. We should have an anniversary cake or something.
How about a cheesecake?
There, oh, man, cheesecake right here. That Italian cream cake and cheesecake. Those are, yeah.
Your favorite? My
Oh, yeah.
favorite too.
I thought there was something about you I liked. I couldn't put my finger on it.
My favorite too.
Anyway, what I thought might be fun is a little change of pace. So Terrence and I are kind of celebrating 6 months together. I have actually developed a 2-year program. all right?
Okay.
And, well, we've talked about this.
Yes, we have.
And so, you know, at 59 years old, I'm not expecting instantaneous change.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the hardest part for me isn't the workouts, which are brutal. I'm so sorry. He beat me up today, Mom. I'm so sorry. It's like, my arms. No, but it's me breaking bad habits, you know? It is. You know, what George Carlin, the comedian, used to say, I like everything you could smoke, snort, or rub on your belly.
Uh-huh.
And that is so me. So Terrence lives this super clean lifestyle, guys.
Sometimes.
All right, here, let's put this to the test. You ready? When was the last time you had a drop of alcohol?
I did have a drop Labor Day weekend.
That would have been 15 days ago. Like I said, Terrence lives a very clean lifestyle.
Labor Day weekend.
I got one of those hats with the 2 wine bottles upside down,
Yes.
you know, and the straw.
Yes.
And it's hard to work out in it, but, you know, I look good. But anyway, so seriously, I did want to ask you a couple of questions because, you know, we're all nerds out here. And as has Kurt, dude, change your YouTube name. Yes, we're going to have some giveaways. I wanted to talk. Terrence only has a short amount of time today, so we're going to talk for a little bit. He also has some deals for people who are local to the Houston, Texas area. But then we'll get into. We're giving away all kinds of stuff today. That's why some of these people, the only reason they come online is see what Mike's giving away.
What you giving away today?
No, otherwise they're like going to hang up on me and go back and do whatever they do.
Okay.
All right. So, anyway, one of the big questions I have is because I mean I live with technology.
All right.
It's
I see.
all over.
Yeah, I see.
So you've been a trainer for how long? Just ball. Or let me rephrase that question. How long have you been health conscious?
All my life.
Okay, so you're 20 what?
I am 44.
Good God.
I'll be 45 in December.
He's 45. I hate you and your hair.
I'm 44. I'll be 45.
But
in
seriously, I mean, was there a point where, all right, so you were probably a kid, like in the early 90s, right?
December. I was a teenager in the early 90s.
All right, so that'd probably be about where you, probably high school, maybe started hitting
Yes.
the weights and all that
Well, I
stuff?
actually didn't start hitting the weights till after high school. I played basketball growing up in high school, so in college I started lifting weights. So that's what got me into the weight training part of it.
Okay, so I'm really trying to get to, bear with me. When did technology start to impact physical training?
It's been a part for me for the last 10 years.
About 10 years?
Yes.
Because, I mean, I've seen it before then. Like, what are those bicycles that with the,
The Peloton bikes.
yeah, where you get your little
Oh,
screen?
you're talking about our espresso bikes.
Espresso. Because Espresso is a brand name of exercise bike. If you've ever been to health club, you've probably seen them. But for years, they had like a little built-in screen. But
Okay.
now when you look at them, they've been upgraded big time, right? You can type in your name and it tracks all this stuff.
The
and all-
graphics has definitely changed. And it looks good. It keeps people excited, makes them want to continue, and you can actually race against your own time.
I do. And they get the ghost and all that
Yes.
stuff. So that works out pretty well. But then, what's the other one with the heart band? The big screens there, and so we work out at a place called Timberline. So at Timberline, they
Yes.
got the big.
I forgot the name of the band. I actually have one, but I haven't used it in forever.
Me too.
I use my watch now, so it's more convenient for me to just have my watch.
All right, well, let's talk about watches, because that's an interesting one.
It doesn't cause any distraction when I'm
Sure.
actually in the workout, so I use my watch.
What does a watch do for you? For me, it's heart rate and counting steps.
All right, for me, it's heart rate, calories, and intensity level. So this is a Garmin Forerunner.
That's a nice one.
This is about a $400 watch.
Yep, I'm familiar with
But
them.
they're about $1,000. So this is just a Forerunner. But it helps me with my heart rate, intensity of my workouts, and calories, and also sleep. Sleep is very important in training.
Sure. Or for my case, lack thereof.
Getting the right amount of sleep is very important.
Alcohol is a big problem because, like, when you're alcohol, you get drunk, right? You
Okay.
pass out, but then you wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and come on, you've been around the block. So if you're going to tell me, I guess I threw this one to you underhand, but I'm going to ask anyway. If there's one thing I need to be doing going forward, what would you say that I need to do?
Get some sleep.
Yeah, get some sleep. I was waiting for you to say consistency.
Get some
Terrence-
sleep, and just put a lot of energy into the diet, what you're eating. That's very important. It's actually more important than the workout. What goes into your body is more important than the actual workout.
It's so hard.
People who
It's
do not
hard.
pay attention to what they're eating gives me job security.
That's the big thing. It's in my seafood diet. So actually, I do have a nutritionist who gives me food, but I need to work with Christine. It's often a big deal. So, well, here's what, like, some of the people are like, my buddy Tolowit is like, if I bought $1,000 watch, I would definitely lose weight. So what I think he's alluding to is that let's admit, personal training is probably on the more expensive side of being health conscious, right?
Right.
So is there another step down from personal training that maybe somebody like a nerd like me or Tolowit who is probably not as motivated?
It's nutrition. You can actually lose weight and get, in shape by just watching what you eat, and how many, calories you eat and things like that.
You can't outrun a bad diet, can you?
You're right. Nutrition is probably the most important thing when it comes to fitness.
Well, you had mentioned to me earlier about boot camps. What is that?
Well, boot camps are something where a group of people come together and from different backgrounds, different fitness levels, and they come together and they work out as a group. That's it.
I've seen that, like out in the park, and there's a big group of people.
Exactly. And then the trainer comes in and just basically holds a class.
All right.
Basically holds a class and then gives everybody something to do. And everybody runs their boot camps differently. It's just all depends on the trainer, his personality, what he wants to do, or what group he has too as well. So boot camps are fun. I'd rather do the one-on-one sessions or maybe like a group of 2 or 3.
Okay.
Because then I can get more personal with the client and also can correct mistakes if I see things.
You've corrected me a million times.
The things about boot camps, you have people in there and you have 1 or 2 people that wants all the attention. And you may have 15, 20 people in the class. So that comes a problem, When
Sure.
you have 1 or 2 people that's just hogging up all your time, then you can't pay attention to your whole class.
I got you. Hey, we actually got a question. So Patricia Grace was asking, how much aerobic activity is recommended? She's not a runner, but I have a nice walking trail. How much, I think Patricia's asking, if she can do walking, how much walking should she do a day?
She should do at least 30 minutes a day. At least 30 minutes a day. But your fitness level all depends on what goals you have and what do you want to accomplish. Like I can tell you, okay, look, we need to do an hour, 2 hours of cardio today, which may not be, helpful for somebody who's not really trying to run a marathon or something, But somebody who just want to burn some calories and get some physical activity, just walk 30 minutes. And you can do that 5 times, 6 times a week.
Yeah, so
walk.
really just walking even 30 minutes a day, huh?
Yes, it's good for the heart.
How about steps? What do you think, using that same analogy?
I don't count steps. Some people do. I don't. So I couldn't give you. I won't be a good reference for that.
Okay,
I
fair
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be that person for that.
If I was walking just 30 minutes, I would get about 2,300, 2,500 steps.
Okay.
So, and I don't do that 10,000 steps. I do 6, 7. If I do 7,500 steps a day, I'm happy.
The goal is just to be active.
Yeah.
So you can ride the bike for 30 minutes. If you have a bike, you can walk for 30 minutes. You can be outside, in your garden for 30 minutes. The goal is to be active. People are not as active anymore.
Yeah, but see, Terrence, I'm like this, man.
Exactly.
I'm gaming away, and I'm tearing it up, killing orcs or shooting down airplanes or something.
Right.
I'm sorry, your exercise is going to get in the way of my gaming, sir.
Well, you can do this 30 minutes or before you actually get to this level. It's best to do it first thing in the morning. You get it out of the way.
I agree. I'm a morning person.
Get it out of the way. It's all done. You don't have to worry about it. And then if you decide to do some extra later on in the day, then it's just more you've done. So it's just to your benefit.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's interesting. It surprises me because I'm just such a technology nerd.
Okay.
I'm always looking for toys, right?
Uh huh.
And you have the Forerunner is a really nice watch, but it doesn't impact your world as much as I would have thought. And like when Terrence and I are working out, there's no technology around at all.
No.
Here, step up on that, Mike. Step down. Step up on that again.
Where I believe, me personally, in the fitness world, people will sell you on all type of ideas and all these gadgets. Use this, use that, and just like I said earlier, all you need to do is just get out and be physically active.
Very good.
And you can go. You have stairs in your house. You can go up and down your stairs 10, 15 times. It's going to take you, I guess, 5, 10 minutes to do it, but that's an intense workout, You're being physically active.
I think that is a big difference.
It's really, you can use the things around you that helps. You don't really have to have technology. That technology has helped me grow my business as a trainer, but as far as when I'm working out, I don't really use much technology.
But see, I got to have MyFitnessPal and Couch to 5K and, all that stuff. And it helps a little bit. Hey, well, listen, folks. Terrence has made an offer. Now, Terrence, you train a lot of people remotely, right?
Yes.
So you could train anybody anywhere in the world if you wanted to.
Yes, I train people online. So that's how technology has helped me. I can be a global trainer now. I'm not just local. So I can be a global trainer now. I can reach people all over the world. But here in Houston, yes, I do train people in Houston. Usually in the side of the loop. That's my location. But I go to their houses. I meet them in parks.
Well, because, a lot of my viewers are like all over the world.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So anyway, folks, Terrence does have an offer for you guys. Let me show this to you for those of you who are interested. All you got to do is contact Terrence at that is his email address. It's thewilltowin.
thewilltowin@gmail.com.
See, I think he needs to do. I told him he needs to change it to them, THEM, because it's Terrence Hornsby. Easy money. Like, I'm really working out and I'm dying. I'm like, please don't make me lift this anymore. And Terrence looks at me and goes, easy money. And I'm like, I'm melting. But anyway, so Terrence, you're offering a free complimentary session.
Yes, we can
do it. I guess
either.
complimentary means free, right?
Right. We can do it online or we can do it in person.
Or
we can do it as a group.
Whatever you guys want to do, if you're interested, or at the very least, it could be a consultation, right?
Right.
All right. So Terrence is offering this for free for anybody who's interested, especially all of us nerds who, let's face it, guys, we don't get out there as much as we should. I ain't saying nothing. But anyway, Terrence, listen, man, that was so great. Let's really appreciate you coming by,
All right,
man.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was fun. You going to come back sometime?
Anytime you want.
All right. When I hit 50 pounds down, and we got the big celebration.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do.
That sounds good.
Cool, man. Hey,
All right.
Can I steal the mic from you?
Yes, you may.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Later, man.
All right. Take care.
Hey.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, brother.
And I'll see you in a few days.
All right, man. Hey, guys, I'm going to leave this up while Terrence is packing here. Please give him a holler if you're at all interested. Later, Tater.
Hey, everybody.
All right, man.
I'm locking the door.
Okay. And so I think it's a great offer that Terrence has for you guys. And please give it consideration. And just thewilltowin@gmail.com. I got to tell you, I haven't lost as much weight as I've wanted to with Terrence, and that's mainly my fault. But I tell you, just feeling better. It's I feel great, and I can't recommend it enough to you guys. And it's I know it costs money, but to me, it's an investment in health and time. I say to myself, I might as well pay Terrence, because other than that, I'm going to be paying for my heart attack. So please keep that in mind. So I thought it was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed having Terrence show up. He's a great guy. I've known him professionally, and he's quickly becoming a friend. And great guy. All right. So, Eric Crenshaw, eat right, stay in caloric deficit. Man, I got to tell you, Eric, it's hard for me to stay in caloric deficit. I'm just one of these people. I just eat everything. And well, that's how you stay chubby, right? And that's been a real battle for me. The physical working out, especially with someone like Terrence around, is just fun. So I actually look forward to that. But it's, 6 o'clock in the afternoon and somebody pops a bottle of wine. That's where I get in trouble. So Zaid Shak, I'd like to go to the gym, but I cannot. Well, a lot of stuff can be done at home too. USA Health Reform, Health Insurance Reform. Have you used Zwift with a treadmill? It turns your treadmill into a video game. Kind of cool. USA Health Reform, let me write that down because I'm interested. Zwift. Zwift. Cool, I'm going to check that out. Thank you, sir. All right. Kevin Lopez, I heard a 3-day fast. Kevin, I got to tell you, I tried some of the fasting stuff. I got on Reddit, and they have a fasting subreddit, and tried some of the stuff, and basically, I just ended up eating more. I know, but fasting works for a lot of people. Connor Wellham, CompTIA, man. I just thought we'd have a little fun. Connor changed things up a little bit, and I asked my trainer to come in. All right, so anyway, folks, my name is Mike Meyers, and this is my Monday, Wednesday at 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time Ask Me Anything live stream. The goal of this live stream is to help those of us who are isolated by the coronavirus have an opportunity to continue to ask questions with me as we continue our studies towards primarily IT fundamentals, A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. Now, we can certainly go outside of that scope, but that is a good place to start. Now, I see a lot of new names here today. First of all, welcome very much. Just because you're kind enough to show up today, we have an offer for you. We always have this offer. It changes a little bit, but for this week, we get 50% off all of A+, Net Plus, Total Tester, and Total Tester Sim bundles. So the Total Tester are the practice questions. To me, it's like the most important thing there is when you're studying for any certification are good practice questions, and that's what mine are for. And also we do Security Plus. So all you got to do is go to www.totalsem.com, got it? And go buy either the A+, the Net Plus, or the Security Plus Total Testers, and you get 50% off. Now, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, I already think that I know that we are the cheapest of the good practice questions out there, and this is 50% off that, so it's just ridiculous. And do take advantage of it. Fitness as a service, you bet, Dave Rush. Andrew Hutz, working on it too. COVID made a huge mess of my workouts and fitness routine. I can't get to the weight room. They actually, at this Timberline where I work out, they have a weight room outside. They have a not underground, they have a first floor parking, and they've actually cut some of that out, and so we can do weights and have some degree of social distancing too. It is hard to, it's hard to work out in a mask. Yeah, look, I'm pro-mask, don't get into that, but anybody who says that breathing with a mask is just as easy as breathing without a mask hasn't worn a mask much. And but it's a challenge. So if I get to social distancing, that helps quite a bit. All right. Oh, Zayed, are we in Ramadan now? Oh, that's, huh. Marvin, Jesus, Jarquin Peralta. Hey there, Marvin. Fabi Melvin, can anyone start in IT regardless of age? Yes, you absolutely can. But the youngest person to ever take A+ certification, I'm pretty sure was 11. Scott Jernigan, do you remember? It was 11 years old. It was a quite young person. Yeah, absolutely. Welcome aboard. We'll take you young. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a little bit trickier to get employment, but a lot of times if you start in your IT 11 years old, thank you, Scott, starting when you're quite young, and maybe picking up some of your like more entry-level certifications, by the time you're in high school or even just going into college, you're usually pretty well set. Here, sorry, here in the United States, we have a number of programs in the high school arena. I know that we also do in England or in the UK, which are things like A+ and Network Plus, which are specifically geared towards high schoolers. So that would be people here in the States would be about 14 to 18 years old. So yeah, young is not a problem. Come on, it's fun. Andre DeGore, if you think Corona masks make breathing hard, try running with a gas mask. Andre, were you in the military? That's cool. Or if you do, I'd forgotten. Ian Camacho, I have a question. Can you differentiate the session and presentation layers a bit more than you cover in the books and videos? Oh, Thaby Melvin, older. Yeah, 37 is nothing. The oldest person I know to ever take CompTIA certification was in their 80s. So, you're as old or as young as you feel, my friend. Differentiate between the session and presentation layers a bit more. Ian, I don't know if I can do it more. I could do it harder. So in the OSI 7-layer model, the big difference between session versus presentation, you got to remember, the OSI 7-layer model is an ancient model. It's about 40 years old, 81, 80, so just under 40 years old. And networking was different back then. This is before things like TCP/IP were well established. This is before things like Ethernet basically owned the universe. This is before concept of physical addressing was really locked in. And so there's some variances in there. And one of the biggest variances that you have is this presentation layer. What you need to understand is that the session layer, so going from the top down, applications layer 7, presentations layer 6, session is layer 5. So the session layer establishes the connection between the client and server and makes sure that they're talking to each other. So things that would work at the session layer would be things like TCP versus UDP and how they actually make the connection to each other, how they break a connection, how they initiate. Sometimes encryption comes into play at the session layer. But the session layer is only designed to get the data to one side or the other in a complete piece. I'm not talking about individual packets. I'm talking about if you're grabbing a Microsoft Word document from a server, the session layer is done when the entire Word document is there. If you're trying to look at a web page, the session layer is done once the entire web page is in your browser, or at least until you click something to make it move to another place. So if the session layer does its job right, it works with all the other layers beneath it to verify that you have a document or a web page or an incoming song or watching a video on YouTube. And that's its job. A billion years ago, it was not assumed that just because you got a Word document transferred over to your machine from a file server, that you could actually read it. Now, I know, guys, we're going way back here, okay? But there was a time when just because you got a text document, that doesn't necessarily mean that you had an application which was capable of reading that document. So for a long time, primarily when we still did a lot of mainframe to PC connections, we had to use this presentation layer, which would in essence change an incoming document in such a way that it could be read. Usually that meant that there was some kind of translation software. About the presentation layer doesn't really play well today anymore, because if I have a document from a file server, things like Windows file associations will take care of that for me in a mindless way. I can open up a text document in Microsoft Word and it just comes right up. I just double click on it or right click on it and say open with, right? Or I could just double click on it and then whatever text document comes up. But that isn't how it used to be. Like, for example, even something as simple as a text file. Back in the old days of mainframes, we had a text file format called, oh my God, I forget, EBCDIC? Who cares? It wasn't ASCII. It wasn't the classic text file that you could open up with Notepad, okay? And you would have to have some kind of translation software that would, as the file came in, it would be translated from EBCDIC to ASCII. Isn't that crazy? And that's what Layer 6 was all about. In my opinion, Layer 6, for all intents and purposes, doesn't exist anymore. In fact, when I'm teaching about Layer 6, it's hard for me to come up with an analogy that everybody agrees with. So I'll say things like PDF files, right? So a PDF file is a universal file reader. Well, no, it's really not. If you think about it, in order to read a PDF file, what do you need? A PDF reader, right? And so even that's a tough analogy. So to me, Ian, the session layer is what allows a file and a server to create the actual connection together. I'm going to take that off. To create the connection together, all right, and to get the data from the server to the client, whatever that data is, email, a file, a video, I don't care. The session layer makes that happen. The session layer initiates the connection between the two devices. It monitors the coming and going of data. It closes the connection. And then once that data is in place, you then go ahead and usually just have an application like Microsoft Word or your web browser or your email client or whatever it is that actually reads the data. But the presentation layer is kind of old-fashioned. To be honest with you, I don't like using the OSI 7-layer model. Now, you definitely need to know it. You have got to know it, certainly for Network Plus. I'm not sure who else. I think A Plus does still ask for it too. The older versions of A Plus used to put in another model called the TCP/IP model, which is a 5-layer model, which in my opinion is a lot better. It basically dumps the presentation layer. And it also dumps it puts the session and the transport layer kind of together into one thing. And I like that very much. If you ever get a chance, you should get on Wikipedia and check out network models, because there's like 40 of them out there. It's absolutely amazing how many are out there. But for the CompTIA exams, they do concentrate on OSI, so stick with OSI. Woof. Andre, you were in the Royal Dutch Army. That's cool. All right, what do we got here? Andrew Hutz. Andrew Hutz at 2:21 p.m. is up to his final interview. Ooh, Andrew, look at you go. What might a final interview look like? There's only 2 reasons to have a final interview. Number one, it's what we call a love fest. They've already pretty much picked you, and this is your opportunity to really, in my opinion, lose your job. A couple other bosses just want to see if you can breathe in and out. They want to make sure that you have bilateral symmetry. They want to make sure that you can present or whatever they're looking for. But the final interview is rarely technical. Usually it's going to either be a love fest, like I was describing, or the other thing, and this is where it could be negative, is that they have 3 people who are fantastic and they can't decide. So, Andrew, in my opinion, the number one thing that you can do in a competitive final interview like that is to show enthusiasm and big smile on your face, show motivation, show leadership, because most good nerds out there, and there's lots of good nerds out there, myself included, we're so interested in showing our technical skills that we forget that even in a highly technical position, you're still going to have to be dealing with people, or you're going to be dealing with vendors or something like that. And that is the more rare quality, to be compassionate, to be have good communication skills, to be motivated. Those are much rarer skills than technical skills. So you've already gone through a second interview. You've done something right. So in this final interview, knock them dead with a little motivation and enthusiasm. That's my recommendation. 2:21 p.m., Jay Joseph. How are we doing? God, it has 10 minutes. How do I do this? I'm already 10 minutes delayed. Jay Joseph. Hey, Mike, I'm getting into studying for HPE Hybrid IT Solutions certification. No. I am not familiar. I probably should be, though, shouldn't I? Let's do a quick Bing search. Wow. Hang on, let me get back. Jay Joseph, I'm sorry, man. Keep in mind, here at Total Seminars, our primary goal is we like to look at ourselves as like the basic trainers for IT, and so that's why we tend to do IT Fundamentals, A+, Net+, and Security+. And we move out that a little bit, but I've never heard of HPE Hybrid IT Solutions. Hewlett-Packard Cloud Certification. I am personally unfamiliar with it. That doesn't make it bad at all, but it's a little bit outside of my lane, as we say. Kevin Lopez. Mike, I wish there was a yearly Nobel Prize for IT. You would definitely win and go down as a GOAT. Thanks, man. Jay Joseph, not easy to find resources specific to it online. Jay, have you taken a look at either LinkedIn, or you should, Jay, take a look at LinkedIn. Scott, can you type that in for me? LinkedIn, and then Udemy. Here, I'm going to do one for you just because I'm curious. Oh, there, Udemy has them. I'm going to Udemy, udemy.com, and I'm seeing some courses on there. And then, let's check LinkedIn. Wow, LinkedIn is also there. It looks like LinkedIn, LinkedLin, has a extensive, I'm just doing a quick web search. So go to those sources, check them out, and then come back here and tell us about them, okay? Because Jay Joseph, I would be interested to see that. Zayed Shak, what hardware is needed to study for the A+? Nothing. You don't need any hardware at all. I would recommend some hardware. Usually just an older system. It doesn't, people are like, I think they have to buy some new system. But making, so you can tell the difference between a, PCI Express 16 lane versus a PCI Express 1 lane. To be able to look at a zero insertion force socket, pull out a CPU and look at it. Be honest with you, at Total Seminars, we use a lot of what we call UAs. An UA is a dead piece of equipment that we can still hold up and people can look at it and go, ooh, ah. So things like motherboards, RAM, to be able to just snap in the RAM. Like for example, A Plus really harps on the different types of RAM, and they should. You should know DDR2 versus DDR3 versus DDR4. And so you would think, well, I have to have a copy of DDR2 and DDR3 and DDR4. You do not. What you need is a copy of one of them. You know, have one stick of DDR2. And maybe if you had one stick of DDR2 and DDR3, these are old RAMs that are very inexpensive now. You don't buy new. Here in the States, we have things like Craigslist and stuff like that, which have very, very cheap prices. Pardon me. And you would just look at this stuff. I mean, seriously. Because you can get away without any equipment at all. In fact, there is a game out there on Steam. You guys use Steam? If you use Steam, Steam has this wonderful, wonderful product. Let's see if I can bring it up so you guys can look at this. Called PC Building Simulator. It's wonderful. I love it. And it really allows you to build real equipment on a 3D environment. And you can put in, and these are brand name RAM, brand name graphics cards, brand name motherboards, hard drives, SSDs, all the cabling, all the power, everything is plugged in. It's an inexpensive game. I haven't checked the price on it. It's $20. And they have a super maxed out edition, which is like all these downloadable contents for $52. Honestly, you don't even need it. $20. You can boot the system up. They have BIOS. They have RAM testers. It's pretty cool. And in fact, there really is a legitimate game that goes with it too. And you can play the game, and people are bringing in machines to be worked on, and you have to go on. You have one computer, which is like your Amazon.com, and you're ordering stuff. Then it all comes in. You fix systems, and it's kind of fun. Yeah. As you can imagine, they do not have Windows in it. I think it's called Omegas, and that's their operating system that they use. It's a fun game. I haven't played it in a few months. I think I'm probably due to start playing with it again. You can put in water cooling, LEDs. It's fun. Fun game. So that would be my recommendation to you. Connor Wellman, I hear Juniper offers free certifications. Are they worth getting? Juniper certifications are good, but to me, I'm always a little bit nervous about Cisco. Look. Cisco owns the router market. All right. I know there's a bunch of Juniper people and other folks out there yelling at me right now, but the reality is, if you want to be dealing with layer 3 switching or layer 2 switching for that matter, you have to become a Cisco guy. And it means you have to have some familiarity with iOS. And I'm not going to begrudge anything that Juniper does, but I just don't hear about it. And that's really the big thing. And if there's a value add I can give you, and that is, I mean, I keep my ear to the ground when it comes to IT certifications. And recognized IT certifications help get people work. Unrecognized IT certifications often just cause confusion in a training environment. What I would tell you is that something that had Juniper on it would certainly prick my ears as someone who's interviewing somebody. But I still just haven't heard of it, so I have to leave it there. Guillermo M., can you please upload your simulation hands-on on Udemy, please? No, really can't. Udemy doesn't really have a way for us to do that. If you want to get our performance-based questions, keep in mind when you're taking CompTIA exams, you have performance-based questions, which a lot of people are just using the word simulation. We do too, whatever. In order to get those, you're going to have to go to www.total7.com and pick them up there. KD, everybody gets hired. Don't do that. KD, that's simply not true. Age means very little. The biggest problem I run into with older people, and trust me, 47, KD, you're a little kid, okay? Or Patricia, you're a little kid too. The problem for older people is they act older, and they let themselves be intimidated by younger people, which is silly. You know, we bring a lot to the table as an older person, and they're happy to hire us, and they do it all the time. So no, KD, 40-something is not too old. The one thing I will tell you, KD, is that you've been doing something else for years, right? You have some form of experience in some industry. Don't forget that. So when you get into IT, stay in that industry, automotive or whatever it was, but do the IT part of it. And you come in with a lot of skill set that people will find highly attractive. Artigal, 2:32 p.m. Any GIAC? No, I don't do GIAC. I'm not against it. I think it's a great program. It's just, you know, we stay in our lane for the most part. We're more entry level. All right, just reading, looking for questions here, guys. Choco Taco, buy an old Dell. Nothing wrong with that. Giles Sosa, DDR3 is more expensive than DDR4? Okay, that's not my experience. Giles, Portugal's a strange and wonderful and wacky place, but I don't think we would have that experience here in the States. 2:36 p.m. Lino Delcor. Hi, Mr. Meyers. Really love your LinkedIn course. Thank you, sir. Do I know Professor Messer personally? I know him professionally. We met a few times, gosh, a long time ago. I think Professor Messer has a wonderful program. As I often say, I think Professor Messer is a better tech than I am. He's extremely knowledgeable. I think that I'm more fun at parties. But no, he's great stuff. But I can't say I know him personally. I have met him a couple of times. Ian Camacho, you're on a roll, 237. Hi, Mike, another question. Do you know about the free Hurricane Electric IPv6 certifications? Is it a valid cert for the resume, or is it more your own knowledge? It's mentioned on Ed2Go. Yeah, Hurricane Electric. It's interesting you bring that up, Ian. So Hurricane Electric, it sounds like a power company, right? And it is technically. But Hurricane Electric, until maybe 4 years ago, if you wanted to get IPv6, especially on the last mile, like to your house or to your small office, your ISP usually didn't provide IPv6. Like, for example, here in the United States, cable services really didn't start providing IPv6 stacks until 5 years ago, maybe even less than that. Let's just say 5 years for the time being. So in order to get onto the IPv6 internet, you had to do a tunnel. And so a tunnel basically meant you set up a VPN link that went from your computer and that then made this VPN link up to a router that had IPv6 capabilities, and that's how you got IPv6 addresses for a long time. Hurricane Electric is what we call a tunnel broker. They are one of many companies out there that would provide people a way to connect to the IPv6 internet. Today, there's almost no tunnel brokers left, and I believe Hurricane Electric is one of the few. Hurricane Electric does provide a certification. I think it's just good for testing your own knowledge. And I don't see in terms of a lot of recognition, but it is out there. Oh, Alice, this is hilarious. Literally, you just said this. Is there any difference between a VPN built in a router and one created on a computer? No. The only biggest difference is the one that's in a router can probably serve everybody on your network. And anybody on the LAN can go through the VPN. Maybe they don't even know they're going through the VPN to get to other things. Like, for example, that Hurricane Electric, the tunnel broker, you could install that into your router, and then it would then pass out IPv6 addresses to everybody on your network. Cool, huh? And if you set your routing table up right, if you're just doing IPv4, it would go out normally, but if there was IPv6 traffic, it would go through the VPN tunnel. So no, there's not really any difference other than who it serves. A VPN endpoint that's in a router usually serves an entire network, whether that's forward or reverse, whereas a VPN endpoint that's on an individual device is only going to serve that one device. That's really the only big difference. Zayed Shak, are your A+ simulations enough? Zayed, I'm teasing you. Are they enough? Oh, they're enough, baby. So the total sims that are at www.totalsim.com are not only enough, I find them to be exhaustive and extremely good preparatory tools for the performance-based questions that you'll run into on the actual CompTIA exams. That was a great question, Alice. Patricia Grace, 237. Would that game include enterprise equipment? No. Patricia, it's just for really just desktops and some slimline systems. So it's really designed, if you want to play with an RTX 3000 series video card, that game has them. You know what I mean? You want to play with the latest high-end Asus motherboard, late gen Ryzen processors, water cooling, that's all in there. But no, not really for enterprise. Unless they've done something in the last few months. The one thing about that PC building simulators are constantly updating on it. And I can't guarantee I've kept up. But generally the answer would be no. Alice Potsy, is the speed of a VPN totally depending on your internet connection, or are there other parameters to check? Well, I mean, your internet connection is going to be a big part of it. The speed of your connection of your VPN, well, it depends on the VPN. Like, for example, I use a Tor VPN a lot. I use the Tor browser, and sorry, things were coming in. So I can set up the number of hops within the VPN, and the more I add, it slows down the VPN more. The other thing you can consider on VPNs, I can never remember the name of this. So you got Alice, you set up one computer and you got a VPN in there, right? So, and you set up the connection, you make the connection, right? So the problem you run into is that the only thing you want to run through that VPN connection is the stuff that you want to keep hidden. So you can end up doing really dumb things. I've done dumb things where I'll have a VPN set up, but then I'll just open a web browser, maybe to look at a local computer. Maybe I got a local file server that's running a web server. And there's a name for this. If it's a local thing, don't go on the VPN. I cannot remember the name of it, Alice, but that definitely, you want to make sure that's turned on. That will do it. The type of VPN will also affect things a lot. If you're not against a lower security VPN, you want to avoid some of the IPsec VPNs and go with just an SSH, like OpenSSH, which is a good one. Or Open VPN is really just a part of OpenSSH. And they just tend to run smoother and faster. Maybe not quite as much. Maybe not quite as much security, but enough for me. All right, so we got some questions coming in that I might have missed. So at 228 Tolowit, what software do you use for the stream? OBS? Yes, I use something called OBS. Can I show this to you without creating great pain? The answer to that is, yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Sorry, I can't actually show it to you. But that's, I use OBS. What other questions did I miss? Alex Pottsy, what are the advantages of a VPN like ExpressVPN compared to a homemade VPN? I don't know. Oh. All right. Alice, you got to be careful with VPNs. There are two very different kinds of VPNs. There is one VPN which hides the servers from the clients, okay? And then there's another VPN which hides the clients from the servers. So the ones that hide the clients from the servers are what we call a reverse VPN, and that's like if you want to hide your IP address. Tor would be an example of a reverse VPN. A forward VPN does stuff like, for example, the example you had earlier, where you had a VPN connected to your router. In that case, everybody's going through that VPN, and the server, wherever the servers are being connected to, are hidden from. They're both VPNs, but they do very, very different jobs. One VPN is going to allow me on a laptop to connect into my home network. Another one is going to allow me to connect to foreign servers and hide myself. They're both VPN, but they work exactly opposite of each other. Guillermo M., is it worth to buy the Cert Master or your whole package? It's always better to buy my stuff than Cert Master. No offense, but my stuff's better, and my stuff's cheaper, and I'm even selling it at 50% off, so it's even cheaper than that. So Guillermo, if you want to buy Cert Master and spend all that money, go for it, my brother. Or you can get my stuff at less than half the price. Sandeep Rao. Hey, Mike, what do you think about a master's degree in cybersecurity versus certifications to break into cybersecurity? Sandeep, if you can get a master's, go for it. There's not a ton of cybersecurity master's programs out there. I'm only aware of one here in the Houston, Texas area, and it's really more of a construction security than IT. Yeah, in general, anytime you can go to a university and get a bachelor's or a master's degree, I'm going to tell you to always do that. That's my opinion. Kevin Lopez. They should make a WAP remix song, but an IT version to help people remember router and switches info. Oh. Well, one thing I need to announce, guys, I did promise that we were going to have a ports and protocols cheat sheet, and I want you to know I did it all by myself. Nobody helped me. I didn't do anything. It's actually Dave Rush, Scott Jernigan, and Ian, I believe, and Michael Smyer all got together and put that together. So we have, for you guys, check this out. So we whipped together all the protocols and ports that you're going to need to know for A+, Net+, and Security+, all on one nice little handy sheet. Now, what I don't know yet is where to get this. I'm assuming that we have made, guys, did we make, oh, here it is. All right, Scott just put it up. So there's a link right there. For all of you guys who've been asking for all the port lists for A+, Net+, and Security+, we just whipped it up, put it in a quick document, and if you take a look at the link there on the live chat, go get yourself a free copy. All for you. I do everything, all for Richard. Lion and Winter, great movie. Katharine Hepburn. What else has happened? Oh, I do have some other information. Guess what came in the mail today? Guys ready? Are you ready? Ta-da! So I got my Raspberry Pi 4 in. I'm all very excited about this. This is going to turn into my home theater system. So I got the Raspberry Pi. These are HDMIs because it's got micro HDMI, so I want to plug this into my home theater monitor. But I've got more. Where did I put it? Yeah, here it is. Hey, we're doing an unboxing just like YouTube. So I got a nice little clear plastic case I'll be putting that into. They give me this little fan. I can't even imagine how noisy this is going to be. Dave Rush, do I really need this? Do I have that much of a heat issue with a Raspberry Pi? We'll see what he says. But there we go. And then we got power. This is something finally somebody thought to do, is they put an on-off switch on these AC adapters because you don't have to keep unplugging the systems every time you want to turn them off. And I've already got keyboard and mice and all that stuff. I just plugged those into a USB port, and I'm all set. The only thing I don't have, believe it or not, is I don't have a micro SD. So, yeah, I'll figure it out. But maybe Dave Rush can loan me one of his micro SDs with the SD thing in it so I can load it up. But I'm all excited. So hopefully by sometime next week, I'll have a new home theater system up and running using Raspberry Pi. Fingers are crossed. We'll see what happens. A lot of questions today. 2:49 p.m. Official rocket power. Mike, does foggy, rainy, snowy weather disrupt Wi-Fi connection? Yeah, sure. Anything that's going to mess up that Fresnel lens that's transmitting the radio is going to affect it. It's going to, yes, it will affect it. We'll be disrupting the connection, the cone of connectivity. It's going to be a lot less of an effect with like 802.11 AC and AX. Anything, or I guess N to a smaller degree, anything that has MIMO is going to be less affected by that, but it would affect it. USA Health Insurance Reform, 2:49 p.m. Hi, Mike. What's a good low-cost VPN you'd recommend for our home networks, maybe 10 to 15 devices? OpenVPN. It's a great little tool. You can plug it into so many different things. I mean, I'm curious what Alice is using. Alice, you said that you've got a VPN on your Raspberry. I'm curious what you'd be using. I'll bet you Alice is using OpenVPN, but we'll see what she has to say. OpenVPN. It's not the most intuitive, easiest VPN to use, but it is robust and it does a great job. And depending on what type of hardware, I probably wouldn't want to do it on a Raspberry Pi, but on a beefier system. Oh, I'll tell you what, USA Health Insurance Reform, the other place I'd look for a VPN is built into the routers. Now, 10 to 15 is a lot. 10 to 15 devices all at once? I'm thinking 10 to 15 devices. I would still be tempted that a lot of the Linksys, Soho type devices have pretty good built-in VPN. A lot of them are OpenVPN, and they run pretty good. And the nice part is they have graphical front ends that make their configuration a lot easier. Where usually all you're doing most of the time is setting up VPN usernames and passwords and maybe some core information. Yeah, OpenVPN would be my first place to go to. Giles left again. Guillermo M. Does discounts for current or post student with university? Nope, no, Guillermo, we don't have student discounts as it says. But Guillermo, every Monday and Wednesday, I've got tremendous discounts. So all you got to do is show up here, and you get some great deals. KD, I have a bachelor's in IT and I still feel I need certs. KD, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. KD, weren't you earlier saying that you were old and you wanted a job? So I will tell you, in those types of cases, KD, getting some certs often is a nice way, especially if your bachelor's is from a few years back. a nice way to kind of show you're still in the game. Absolutely. Dave says you don't need the fan. Thank you, Dave. I don't want to. Can you imagine? Look at this fan, guys. Look how tiny that is. You know how noisy this thing's going to be? It's going to be All right, Dave. I'm not going to put it in. Mr. Ruby is here. Didn't even see you. Hey, Mr. Ruby. USA Health Insurance Reform, 2:54 p.m. What about people who have a 4-year degree in another field getting a post-bac degree in computer science? Would that be a better idea than a cyber given the versatility? Yeah, if you're going to get a computer science degree is a programming degree. It's a coder's degree. People who are system administrators and stuff like that usually don't go towards CS degrees. Chaco Tycho, nice pie, Mike. Did you buy a Smarts case kit? I don't remember. It was on Amazon.com. The price was right. It had all the toys I was looking for, and in particular, it had that stupid on-off button on the power supply, which when I mess with Raspberries, I just find that very convenient. But I'm not sure. Did I see somebody say Barbie Dreamhouse? No, Patricia. You could put... I'm not going to put it in my Barbie Playhouse. I'm going to put it in my Barbie Corvette, my pink Barbie Corvette. When my daughter was little, she was so into Barbies. And so she was like 9, 10 years old. And we're like, okay, we have to repaint your bedroom. What color do you want to paint it? And she said, Barbie pink. So her bedroom was this god-awful Pepto-Bismol pink for the longest time. Tolowit, ASMR unboxings for the nerd herd. Here, this is just for Tolowit. So now we're going to open the box. All right, I'm no good at ASMR. Why do I guess like 15 of you guys right now are going, what is ASMR? Be careful what you type in there. Chaco Taco, you think you got the same kit? Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited. I've got a old Pi 3 laying around. And to be honest with you, I think I may have been okay with this. This is the one with the maxed out RAM on it. And I didn't realize that all of these Raspberry Pi 4s have 2 HDMI connections, which I don't have 2 monitors, but whatever. Alice, you've got a big fan on yours? Well, Alice, is it getting hot? You know, that's always the big question. Dave Rush, happy to loan you a micro SD. I'll prep it before I bring it. No, Dave, don't do that. I want to go through, I like learning. I want to go through the process, even if it's just schlepping something on there. Looking for questions. Don Cannon, 2:58 p.m. It's already after 3, goodness. Did you always know you wanted to be in the IT field? What made you make the decision to do it? I just always liked technology. I was chemical engineering at Texas A&M, but I was always playing with technology. So, yeah, no. It wasn't until the very late 1980s that I got into IT as a full-time profession. I had a number of other industries I worked in. I was bouncing around a lot, Don. What made you make the decision? I was just always in it. I was just always lucky to be around people, especially at the beginnings of the PC revolution, early to mid 80s, where I just got my hands on, original 8088 processors and some stuff like that. The original IBM PC, which I still have one. It was fun. Chaco Taco, doesn't OpenVPN require that you redeploy a server image? No, absolutely not, Chaco. Why would, I'm not familiar with that. it's kind of costly. No, man, am I saying the wrong thing here, guys? Is OpenVPN not the popular freeware that's been around like forever? I'm just reading, bear with me. Oh, I see what you're saying here. I'm at openvpn.net. The client is free. Now you got me nervous. Oh my goodness, they've changed the name. Guys, OpenVPN, the freeware version is now called, you ready? Private Tunnel. Huh. Scott Jernigan, Dave Rush, dudes. If Michael Smyer was on here, that'd be nice too. I think OpenVPN has gone kind of private. It's like a lot of these where it's not as obvious how to get the free product anymore. Interesting. Very interesting. Choco Taco, thank you for bringing that to my attention. We may have to change that. Oh, here, Alice Pottsy, you've got OpenVPN on Pi. Did you pay any money? Oh, okay, so USA Health Reform. You'd be surprised. Things like security cameras and a Nintendo Switch aren't going to take that much bandwidth. I'm more worried about your laptops that you're mentioning. 3 o'clock. Dear Keys. Hey, Mike, I passed yesterday the A+. All right. Dear Keys, big round of applause to you for passing the A+. Oh, you passed the first one. Go do the second one right away, please. Andrew Hutz. He wants the fan because it's cool. Oh, stop. Stop. Where are we at now, kids? Looking for her questions. E. White, W. Where's the link? Gene Dorival. Hey, Gene. Hey, Mike. What are some good sites, ways to keep up with news on tech, electronics, etc.? I'm not going to, Gene, you're not the first person to ask this question. I've been cheating lately, and I pretty much just use Google News these days. I'll go to Tom's Hardware. I'll go to a few others. I need to do a better job than just try to yell these out to you. Hey, Scott Jernigan, let's, here you go. Scott's typing in Ars Technica, Tom's Hardware. But I think we could do better than that. And let's come up with a list of websites. Because for me, it's not just websites anymore. I use a lot of resources other than just websites. We're going to put one together for you. I'll put it together. Let me get this formalized. I should have done this a long time ago. So, Gene, come back sometime next week. I'll have a nice list of where Mike goes for his news. I mean, honestly, if you took a look at my computer. Here, check this out. So this is just, you see all the menu items? So almost all of these are places I go to a lot. So, this gives you a small idea. So what I'll do instead is, just for you, man, is I'll break it down a list. Now keep in mind, it really depends on what you're looking for, right? So are you talking about standalone? Are you interested in, wireless? Or, there's lots and lots of sites out there. So anyway, that might help. Yeah, Patricia, the cats are still here. I think you saw Jack walking by. Margot is, she's kind of a stealth kitty. I don't see her too much. She prefers her own company, unless you're opening up a can of little Friskies or whatever she eats. Da-da-dum. Connor Wellman, 3:03 p.m. Looking for a career change. Should I get the A+ certification first, or can I skip to get the Net Plus? Well, Connor, what do you want to do, right? I mean, this is always the big question. I think that a lot of people who can absolutely raise their right hand and guarantee they're not going to be opening up systems. And when I say opening up systems, I'm talking about opening up routers or switches as well. If you can say you're not going to do that, yeah, go to Net Plus. It's not a problem. But almost every box on earth these days, whether it has a keyboard and monitor on it or not, it's still going to be a computer. It's going to have RAM. It's going to have mass storage. It's going to have an operating system. It's going to have device drivers. It's going to have I/O. It's going to have networking stacks. And I think that the A+ provides a really good insight and understanding of that. So regardless of the operating system, regardless of that stuff, it has its place. But again, if you could raise your right hand and say, Mike, I absolutely promise that I'm never, ever going to be jacking with individual systems, yeah, sure. Go straight for Net Plus. Kevin Lopez, 3:03 p.m. I've learned so much about IT from studying your courses for the A+. It's exciting, scary to think how much more there is to learn beyond A+. Dude, it never ends. Every time I think I know a lot about computers, somebody brings up something and slaps me around, like HP certifications, which I'm all interested in. Dun, dun. 3:07 p.m. Sandeep Rao. Would you know of any roles that require strong programming skills with cybersecurity knowledge? Yes. Anybody who's developing code needs security, and there's all kinds of security jobs. There are people in development teams whose only job is security. So yes. Any newfound passion for cybersec? Any advice for me? Well, Sandeep, the reason you have passion is because probably as a developer, you've been running at all kinds of security stuff, right? I mean, if you're a developer, if you're developing as a team, somebody's thinking about security. But, you know, stay within programming, realize that there is tons of security issues within development and in the DevOps world, especially in secure DevOps. That's like an entire topic in Security Plus. Sandeep, I see you're taking the Security Plus. So, yeah, secure DevOps is a big part of that. Artigel, another chemical engineer. All right. Alex Pozzi, can you explain salted hashes? Sure. Okay, so you understand that we have lots of passwords, usernames and passwords are saved in all kinds of places. So we don't actually save a password. At no time, that I'm aware of at least, is there a system that actually takes your password, whatever it could be. It could be an email server, it could be a Linux box, it could be whatever. Nobody actually saves your password. What they do is they hash your password. So if you take I'm assuming, Alice, you know what a hash is. So if you hash the password and you save the hash. So if somebody wants to log into your system, what they're doing is on their machine, what they do is they send, it depends on how, there's some variances in here, but they send a hash of the password and it just compares the hashes so that way the password itself isn't compromised. The problem is that, especially for smaller hashes like MD5 and things like that, there's just not that many permutations, and there are bad guys who have been spending the last 20 years calculating every possible hash that could come out of, for example, an MD5. Now, the number is infinite, but you can get a lot, okay? Like, what is the hash word? What's the MD5 password? I'll get this out right. What is the MD5 hash for the text password 123? They figure this stuff out, and they have these huge tables that are arguably called rainbow tables that basically, if I'm going to hack your system, all I want to do is get to your hashes, and then I can go through and grab these hashes and compare them to my list of 14 quadrillion hashes, and I've got you, all right? That's bad. So what we do instead is we take your password, whatever that password is, and before we hash it, we salt the password. So your password is password 123. Now there's a lot of different ways to do a salt, but one of the ways we can do a salt is this simplest way, is I'll put at the end of password 123, Mike Meyers is a great guy. Okay, so it'll be password 123, Mike Meyers is a great guy. Then we'll go ahead and hash that and store that. Get the idea? So now anytime anybody comes in, we'll go ahead, take the password, add the salt to it, and come up with something to defeat these rainbow tables. Salts are really important. They're built into pretty much any hash-based password storage, and dang near all password storage these days is hash-based. So a salt basically stretches the key value, which is usually going to be the password, and makes it harder because we already have calculated for a lot of hash tables, all the basic stuff. I mean, you use a password today that is a human word followed by some numbers and throw some exclamation points in there or bangs or whatever, it's going to get hacked pretty quick if the big guys with the big money want to crack it. Salting just makes it harder. In fact, we can go a step past salting, which is called key stretching, which is a topic for Security Plus. I hope that helped, Alice. Woo, we've got questions. Jean Dorval, doing some computer and phone repair on the side. Any suggestions on tools that are absolutely necessary? None. Don't buy anything. Seriously. People, it's like they're going to start working on computers. They think they need all these tools. They don't. Get a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. That's 90% of your battle right there. If you're going to be working on phones and tablets, you might want to take a look at iFixit toolkits. They make some really good stuff. iFixit, you can spend $130 on their fancy kits. Usually they got a little like $30 kit that works great. But other than that, maybe a power supply tester, maybe a power on self-test card. Even those are really not that critical. Yeah, keep it simple. Alice, for the record, I say Alice Potsy, and Scott Jernigan is constantly correcting me on the side channels here, going, you're not pronouncing Alice's name right. I'm trying. Oh, there you go, Tolowit, mentioning iFixit for me. Thank you. Okay, you guys really want to go through this? Fine, we can do this. The hardware tools that I would consider buying if I was working on systems for a living. I'm pulling them up. All right, let's start off with the easy stuff. So this is, you can see we're on ifixit.com. Honestly, they have all these different toolkits. They have this Mako driver, which is probably, in my opinion, all you'll ever need. I mean, they've got these big, expensive ones. Oopsie. I mean, that thing's 270. I think that's overkill, personally, but, you know. They do exist. So that would be one thing. Hang on, I'm going to dig up a few more here. Bear with me. Da-da-da-da. Whoops. Let's try that again. So I'm not recommending this particular one, but this is just one I stumbled into. So this is a power on self-test card. As long as it's got 2 hexadecimal digits, I'd get one of these. How much do these guys want for this one? You shouldn't pay more than about 20 bucks, 25 bucks tops. You're almost never going to use a postcard. I have a few postcards laying around, and I use them maybe once a year. The one place a postcard saves your bacon is when you fire a system up and the power supply fan's turning and nothing else is happening. And that's where a postcard can really help you, because you can have that snapped in and see if at least the post is trying to run. That would be it. Hang on. All right, here's the last one. So this is a power supply tester. To me, like the most breaking part of most computers is the power supply. So I keep a few of these around. These are certainly less than 100 bucks. And they're a great way, especially if you got a computer that's rebooting spontaneously or a machine that's not booting up well. These power supply testers are great. Other than that, a couple of screwdrivers. I mean, seriously, that's all you need. In terms of software, I'd keep around a bootable copy of Windows for diagnostic. And I'd also get a bootable anti-malware tool. And I'm not going to name one. They're all pretty good. I don't care which one it is. But it's something you can put onto a thumb drive, and you can actually boot a system up on that thumb drive and clean the system with. And there's a bunch of them out there. I'm not going to name one. Whatever you pick is going to be fine. I do have some tools. Let's take a look here. So this is a list of what I call Mike's Cool tools. These are utilities that a lot of people like to use. I like to use them. This list changes a lot. There's nothing secret about these tools. Anybody can access these. But these are the types of tools I like to keep around. And that is, I think Scott put a link in there. Did you put a link there, Scott? It looks like you said you did. Thank you. That will point you to Mike's Cool tools. And some of these are even like things like Wireshark, or even actually on the CompTIA exams. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. But again, this idea of having to collect a bunch of software and hardware and then hang a shingle is simply wrong. All right. Now, that one time in 500 when you're going to need a postcard, just call the customer and go, look, I'm waiting for a part. You go order the postcard, and that's when you get one. Don't go pre-ordering a bunch of stuff that you may or may not ever use. So, How's that for an answer? Okay. Tolowin at 314. Potsy like pizza. No. We're working on it, Alice. Bear with these dumb Americans. Gene Dorwell, you failed the Net Plus? Gene. Send me an email. Gene, send me an email. Michael M at totalsem.com. Gene, send me an email. You're writing this down. You're writing down my email address. Gene Dorval, write this down. Send me an email and tell me what happened. I need to know where you're from. I want to hear what's happening here. Send me an email. Alice Potsy. Who chooses whether to hash or salt hash your password? The application that's storing it. You very rarely have any control on that. I can't. There's a couple of VPN tools I've run into where you can choose how stuff is stored, but in general, you don't have any control on that, Alice. You chose to use OpenVPN. However it stores it, it stores it. Wouldn't it be logical to always use salt hash? To always use a salted hash? Yes. Is it something you configure in the OS? Nope. It's all done automagically. Or not only in the OS, but it could be like that VPN. You could probably configure it somewhere in the VPN, but I don't think you can. I think that stuff's pretty defaulted. Looking for questions. So you guys realize when I'm looking through questions here, if I see an @ sign, that means y'all are talking amongst yourselves, and I just skip it quickly. Tolowit, what I like about iFixit is that they sell specific kits for tasks. That's true, they do. The other thing I've learned about iFixit and their toolkits is that I'm really, really bad at replacing screens. You know, once they start saying, you know, put a pry bar in here and then use a heat gun to get it to, 126 degrees centigrade or whatever it is. Yeah. I don't have the kinesthetic skill for that. And then suddenly the ability that I can take my iPhone over to somebody for $85 and get the screen replaced, I'm going that way. Andre, you don't know my email address? Oh, I always put up my email address. Yeah, let me put it up one more time. There I am, Mike Meyers, Michael M at totalsem.com. That phone number is my local phone number. There's no one in the office, so if you really had some kind of like emergency, like someone's life was at stake or something, the screeners would get you through to me. But honestly, the fastest way to get a hold of me is just send me an email. I check my email about 100 times a day. If you're a gamer, I am Senor Pepe on Steam. Always up for a good game, depending on what the game is. I accidentally flicked the phone number slide up when trying to show hardware. Oh, I don't care about that. I guess you mean this slide, Scott. And also, I am Desweds. If you want to guess what my Gmail account is, guess what my Discord account is. I'm Desweds, Desweds. I know Desweds looks meaningless, but if you type it on a keyboard, it makes complete sense. It is a kinetic acronym, so I can type Desweds and keep my finger on the mouse at the same time. Do, 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 do. Connor Wellman, does PC Building Simulator work for Mac, or is there a good Mac alternative? There's an excellent Mac alternative. It's called a Windows PC. Oh, Connor, you threw that to me underhanded. Thank you so much. Scott Jernigan's like doing this right now. He's going like this. Is there an alternative to a Mac? Yep. It's called a Windows PC. I am not familiar running Steam on a non-Windows environment. It's a Steam tool. Check it out. Let me know. Don't instantly assume just because Mike Meyers said so that it only runs on Windows. It might run on Macs for all I know. Kevin Lopez, 3:24 p.m. Is port 80 the only port that has certificates? No. In fact, port 80 does not have certificates. What you're talking about is TLS, SSL/TLS. And once you're running a TLS connection in the world of HTTP, that's on port 443. Port 80 does not have certificates. Would you get a warning on some sites 443? I think not, because it's supposed to be encrypted. So when you're connecting to a secure HTTP site, during the initial handshake, the only thing you're doing is transferring certificates to each other and setting up the protocol suite. And port 80 does not have certificates. Port 443 is one of many different applications that has a certificate associated with it. Sam McFarland. Hey, Sam McFarland. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you, sir? Oh, God. Now you're trying to make me pronounce Jean as Jean. Jean. No against Jean, however you pronounce your name. We're always glad to do it. Dreamer 77DD. Things like SATA to USB cable, booting past Windows, password to collect files before drive fails. Oh, okay. Well, Dreamer, there's lots of hacky tools. Probably if you're just looking for things to play with, one of the things I might recommend. Don't go buying all this stuff. You don't need to. But for just funsies, one of my favorite places is good old Hack5. This is hack5.org. Can you guys read that? And they have all kinds of hacking tools. I can't quite get it to fit in here. Let me see if I can get this to work. Bear with me. One moment, please. One moment, please. There we go. Good enough for the moment. So I can go in here and they have, these are hacking tools. These are designed to help people for Wi-Fi penetrations, keyboard collecting data, all kinds of fun tools. Have fun. Spend all your money. And if you're not aggressively pen testing or vulnerability assessing, I wouldn't know why you'd want in there. But I do own a few of those. You need to check out the USB Rubber Ducky. That's one of my favorite tools. So it's, okay, Gene, it's not Gene, it's Jean. Jean. Sam McFarland, do you play League of Legends? You know, Sam, I've never played League of Legends. I see it. I actually watch it. I'll watch other people play League of Legends. So it's Jean. Got it. Okay, 3:29. What time is it? It's 3:34, man. We're busy day today, huh? Where you at? Mo Shockey. Question for you, Mike. Is a packet sniffer, protocol analyzer, and a port scanner basically the same thing? Nope. They can have some overlap. Like, for example, Wireshark, which is a very popular protocol analyzer, also comes with a built-in packet sniffer called WinPCAP or PCAP. And so the packet sniffer grabs all the packets, and then the actual Wireshark app looks at that file. You create a file called PCAP file. It's called a PCAP, and you then analyze it. Wireshark and PCAP and WinPCAP are not the only tools that do that. There's lots of other tools out there, Linux-based tools that are actually probably better, at least in terms of collecting packets. But Wireshark's pretty good for the analysis, and it's well known, and it's free, and that kind of a thing. A port scanner is kind of a different animal. So a port scanner is going to be querying the ports on a particular system. It could be your own system, it could be another system on your local area network, and if you're sophisticated enough, it could go anywhere. The goal of a port scanner is different. Whereas a protocol analyzer is going to be looking at individual whole packets, a port scanner is really just looking at the state of ports on a remote system. Are they open ports? Are they listening ports? Are they closed ports? Get the idea? So, and they're going to look very different. So a port scanner is usually going to show, you'll click an IP address on a local area network, and it's going to give you a list of open and closed ports. A protocol analyzer, like Wireshark, is going to give you a list of all these packets that you've captured with your, let me make sure we're using the right terms here, the packet sniffer, and then looks at them. So different animals. Choco Taco Linux. Jean Dorival. Like Jean-Luc Picard. I'll never remember that. Look, we can't even figure out how to pronounce Alice's last name. Scott Jernigan tells me it's Potsy, and then now Alice just says pizza. So I'll get it. I know who you are. Sam McFarland, what is a USB rubber ducky? It is a cool tool. A USB rubber ducky looks exactly like it's just a regular old thumb drive, but it's actually a wireless client. It can capture keyboard buffers. You can inject script commands. So basically, if you can get up to a computer and plug a USB into it, you can probably own that machine. Are we quieting down here, kids? Scott's asking me to show the rubber ducky. Scott, it's not actually on my person right now. Oh, I guess I could show it to you online. Let me do that. Problem is, rubber duckies just aren't that interesting to look at. So that's the USB rubber ducky. If you look at this thing, it looks just like a regular old thumb drive that somebody's got stuck into a system. But it can actually, it'll install backdoors, it'll capture credentials, I mean, it can do all kinds of stuff. And no, I'm not going to teach you how to use it. There are trillions of web pages and YouTube videos that talk about how to do this stuff. And also keep in mind that plugging in a device like this without permission is, in many parts of the United States, a felony. So it's time for the handcuff boys. So you might want to, these are great and powerful and very, very dangerous tools in the wrong hand. It's $50. Very convenient. All right. All right, guys, so remember the rules here. This is a Ask Mike Anything. So if we reach a point where the questions have slowed down, then we kind of call it a day. All right. So I'll tell you what, I did say we're going to do a giveaway today, didn't I? So let's do a giveaway. You guys want to do a giveaway? Hold on, I'm reading. Okay, Alice is saying, I configured the bridging option in VMware as you told me, but one of my VMs gets a different subnet from the host one. Well, Alice, it's coming from somewhere. So if one of your VMs is getting something different, it's because it's not connecting to what you think it is. And I'm going to tell you, just keep looking. Yes, we're going to do a giveaway. How do you enter? All you guys got to do is whoever types the right answer first wins, and we're going to give away practice questions today. Hang on, though. Mothered Animal. Hi, Mike. Does the CompTIA IT Fundamentals have any true reflection on what to expect in the trifecta? Trifecta? The 3 exams? I don't know. Does anybody understand what Mothered Animal's asking when he says trifecta? All right, well, Scott, I already promised that we're going to do a competition, so let's do a quick competition, and I'll get back to these questions. You ready? Competition. Now, here's how the competition works. The first person who writes down in the chat, A plus, Net plus, Security plus. So no, the IT Fundamentals is really more of a user certification. It's a very inexpensive certification. It's probably designed more for non-technical people, more for users. We see IT Fundamentals as early as middle school here in the United States, or early high school. And it's a way for basic users to show their skills. So I would not say that it's part of the trifecta. All right, so you guys ready? Now it's time for me to ask a question. Now, here's a couple of the rules. Rule number 1. Sometimes we run into problems. We had a visitor from Palestine, and their connectivity and their systems just didn't work, and I wasn't able to give them a prize. We can sometimes run into problems, so I can't absolutely guarantee. We've had 1 or 2 problems where people couldn't get their prize, okay? So if it doesn't work, we'll try to get you something, but there have been 2 times in the 6 months we've done that where I just had to say, sorry, but so be aware of that. Also, do keep in mind that this is completely unfair. So whoever I see on here first is the winner. You ready? So let's have a competition. What are we going to do today? Also, if you guys have won before, Tolo it. Just kind of back down a little bit. Let's let the new folks have an opportunity at this, okay? So let's all be friendly, and let's let the new kids in part of the competition, all right? So now it is time for me to come up with a question. Secure web pages, HTTPS on port 443, used to use SSL. Now they use something else. It has 3 letters. I don't want the letters. I want the words. What is the type of security? I'll give you a clue. It's often used 3-letter acronym, but I need to know the words. Everybody can play. It's what replaced SSL. Jean Dorival, Transport Layer Security. Choco Taco, you were close, but you did TSL instead of TLS. Jean-Luc Dorival, you are the winner, my friend. John, in order to receive your prize, you get to choose the online practice questions from Total Seminars, either the A+, the Net Plus, and Security Plus. You pick one of those. In order to claim your prize, John, all you have to do is send an email to Kathy Yale at totalseminars.com. Scott Jernigan is going to type Kathy's email into the chat window for you. And congratulations. So all you got to do is send an email to Kathy and say which one you want, either A+, Net Plus, or Security Plus. How's that for easy? Congratulations to you, sir. All right. We got some more questions. Scott Jernigan. Will you explain the difference between an ESSID and a modern mesh Wi-Fi network? Sure, I can do that. Bastard. A traditional extended service set identifier in a wireless network means that you have multiple wireless access points. Each one of these wireless access points has a layer 2 connection. So it's like a Ethernet connection, layer 1 connection, layer 1 and 2 connection. A wired connection to a centralized switch. And that's how you make an ESSID work. So you have more than one wireless access point. Each access point has the same SSID name on it. Got it? And usually they're on different channels. Although if they're far enough apart, you can usually keep them on the same channel even. And the goal of this is they then work together, expanding the coverage area for the extended service set identifier. In fact, the 802.11 standard automatically, assuming that the two wireless access points are on the wired side plugged in the same switch, they automatically start communicating to each other. You don't have to do anything. They just start talking. And they will pass off communication between different systems, that type of stuff. Mesh is a little bit of a different animal. In a wireless mesh network, what you have is a number of devices that have no Ethernet connection in the back. They usually plug into a wall. Do I have one handy here? So you have these individual little boxes. They're more than just a wireless access point. They're actually a repeater. And their goal is they will share signals between each other. As they plug into the same SSID, they become part of the same group, but they're designed to relay data between each other. They do not use Ethernet. There's usually only going to be one box in the wireless network that then has an Ethernet connection to whatever your big network is. So that's the big difference. Jean Dorival, the big winner. Hey, Mike, I want to get into cybersecurity. Any advice other than the certificates to become more proficient in this field? New to this. Playing is a big deal. Understand that cybersecurity, Jean, is a very, very large topic. Experiment. The best thing about the Security Plus exam, more than anything else, is that the Security Plus exam really helps people wrap their heads around how big the world of IT security is. And take some time and find where your joy is. Everybody thinks IT security is penetration testing and or vulnerability assessment. I assure you there's a lot more interesting stuff. In fact, if you want to make a lot of money, what you want to do is get into management. What do they call it? Governor? I can't remember the term that they use. It's the people who sit in the big conferences, and they're the ones who make the big money. I know it's frustrating, right? Because you think, oh, I want to be a great pen tester and use, Kali Linux and hack into things. Dime a dozen. Well, maybe not a dime a dozen, but not nearly as common as people who can take a look at an IT infrastructure, recognize problems with the attack surface, and help using, different types of frameworks address how to patch up weaknesses in a infrastructure. That's where the big money is. Sam McFarland, how often do you give swags and what do you give away? Sam, usually give away practice questions is common. Sometimes we give away books. I'm going to tell you on September 25th, when we have Eben Upton, the father of the Raspberry Pi, he's going to be on Dave Rush's presentation on the 25th. Dave, I'd like to be in on that too, if you don't mind. Like, for example, we're going to be giving away at least 4 Raspberry Pi kits, not too dissimilar from the one I just showed you. So yeah, we're always giving stuff away. And guys, if you're looking for some official, how many things do we give away? We don't. It's spontaneous. Governance. Thank you, Choco Taco. Did I curse? Scott Jernigan, I am a bastard. I didn't want to say anything. Andrew Hutz, pen test on the side for bug bounties. That is, Andrew, I'm not going to disagree with you, but those bug bounties are tricky to get. There's a lot of competition for them. Oh, I see. I forgot I said that, Scott. Dreamer 7, happy to have found you. Happy I found you. Jean, you want that pie? Show up on the 25th, dude. We even have already pre-set up European access. If we have winners in the EU, we want to make sure you guys are covered again. Sam, you want to see the kit? Sam, this is not exactly the kit that is going to be given away. So this is the Raspberry Pi 4. It's going to be pretty close. Some drives. What else we got here? Cute little case. There we go. Power connector. But no, I'm not going to give away keyboards or monitors. I'm assuming you guys can find those things on your own. Oh, don't want to forget this, Sam. A fan. It makes me laugh. Choco Taco, got to go sell plasma. Been there, man. Alice is wondering what a bug bounty is. So most companies that do DevOps or have hardware usually have some kind of bug bounty, which basically says if you find a problem with our software or our hardware, or device drivers or whatever it might be, we'll pay you. And they call it a bug bounty, Alice. And it's interesting stuff to do, and lots of people do work at this. I don't know anybody who makes money at it. I mean, who makes a living at it. But yeah, so a bug bounty is prize money that people pay to find problems or bugs with their hardware and software. Kevin Lopez, this is more of a general job search question. If you see a job posted on Indeed directly on the company's website, but is over a month old, is it still absolutely worth applying for? Maybe usually there's some kind of problem with it. Or the other thing is they're fishing for people. They may not have like an official job opening, but they're just trying to get a stack of resumes in. But yeah, always, always, always be applying. Most of the time when I meet people, they're like, well, I can't find a job. I was like, well, what have you done? And it's like, well, I sent out 10 resumes. It's like, oh, okay. You need to think more in the terms of like 100 to 200 resumes. That's normal. All right. Oh no, Andre. I'm sorry to hear about your daughter, man. Good wishes your way. Good wishes your way. Over the pond. Always be certifying, dude. A, B, C, D. Well done. All right, guys, it looks like it's kind of wrapping up for the day. And to be honest with you, I'm a little bit wrapping up myself. So we're going to end 5 minutes early. Woo! Okay, so remember, this Friday, Dave Rush is going to be on. And I don't remember what Dave is doing this Friday, but it'll be cool. And it'll have to do with Raspberry Pis. And so that'll be a lot of fun. I will be back, obviously, next Monday. What did I promise this time? I'm going to have a list of sources. I'm going to give you guys a list of sources that I go to for technical news. And that it's always you're always welcome to check that out. In terms of giveaways today, number one, this week it's 50% off all A+ and Net Plus and Security Plus Total Testers plus bundles. Go to www.total7.com. The code is MMLive914. Also, don't forget that for those of you who are interested, my buddy Terrence Hornsby is offering absolutely free consultations. Let me use the right word, complimentary session. For those of you like me who are trying to stay a little bit more healthy, just send him an email. And keep in mind, complimentary sessions, half of Terrence's business is with remote customers. So you can be anywhere, and he is more than glad to work with you. And I am walking proof that he's superb, and I can't recommend him enough. But that is all I think I've got for the day, folks. Again, Jean, congratulations on winning your package. I hope you're going to be sending Kathy a email shortly. And until then, guys, I will see you next Monday. Have a super duper weekend and do whatever you do. And until then, this is your Uncle Mikey saying good night. Good night.